स्वाध्याय टीवी। डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Speaking is not about individual sounds. Speaking is not about words, but it's words arranged in a particular order according to certain grammatical rules. But at the same time, each language has a certain pattern, a rhythm. It's not music, it's not poetry, but there is in English a certain kind of intonation which is important. So let's hear what it sounds like when people speak to each other. Remember, if it's a question, my tone is different. If it's an exclamation, it's different. So here you have Veena, who is a student, a young school-going girl, talking to her mother about the future. Please listen not just to the words, but what happens in connected speech. You don't need to know that it's called a stress pattern or an intonation, but you have to be able to listen so you know whether it's a question or whether it's a statement, whether it's an answer, etc. So listen to us talk, Veena and her mother talking to each other about the future. Veena?
Yes, mother.
Isn't it time you decided what you were going to do?
Yes, I suppose it is, mother.
Well, what are your plans?
I haven't really got any, mother. I haven't thought very much about it.
Well, it's time you did. After all, your high secondary year begins next term. You must have some preferences by now.
I quite fancy medicine. But then the government would probably send me to some dreary provincial town.
For the very good reason that that's where doctors are needed. You young people are too fond of city life. Anyway, are your science subjects good enough?
They are about average, and my maths is quite good.
What about the IAS?
Too much form filling in and sitting behind a desk all day.
Rubbish. A good collector should be out and about a lot, helping his district's development.
Well, I must only have met the bad ones.
Don't be so disrespectful. You don't know what you're talking about.
What I'd really like to do is study abroad.
Isn't India good enough for you?
Yes, of course it is. But I don't think travel does any harm either. Anyway, I look at the jobs people get who have been overseas.
Before you start thinking about that, you'll have to have a first-class BA and a first-class MA. And even then, you may not get there. The competition is very fierce for these foreign scholarships.
How about economics, mother? I could use my maths there. On the statistical side?
Now at last, you are beginning to put forward your own ideas, which is what I like to see. If you did well in economics, you could join one of the big companies or go into the administration or academic life.
Yes, I suppose there are a lot of openings.
Mind you, you'll have to spend a lot less time in cafes or hanging around street corners or chatting with your friends than you do now. You must get down to some good, solid reading.
All right. How about taking out a subscription to the Indian Economist for me?
Well, you heard that conversation between two people. I'm sure you noticed how there was the voice rising sometimes and falling sometimes. You're not acting, but even when you are speaking, the right amount of stress on important words, the right kind of intonation makes the listener enjoy what you're talking, makes the listener understand. It's not only words which are important, It's the way the words are strung together, the way you put the words together and say them, which finally contributes to the meaning. So remember that when we are talking about speaking skills, we have looked at sounds, we have looked at words, and now you have heard some connected speech.
स्वाध्याय टीवी